Baghdad's oldest street has become the main venue of anti-government protests. Rashid Street dates back to the 16th century. Tracing the Tigris River, it's an important access route to both Tahrir Square and the central bank. Demonstrators see this historic avenue as a strategic defense point to prevent security forces from marching on Tahrir Square. But holding it has come at a price. A banner to commemorate those killed hangs on a burned building next to the barricades. The protesters who guard them fear being targeted and don't want to show their faces.
We advanced here because we want to block the road. There are government employees going to work here and we're trying to make civil disobedience. We will not withdraw until there's a response to our demands to get rid of all of the parties.
This is not the first time Rashid Street bears witness to a revolt. Historian SAAD al-GHURAIRI was born here and has studied the street's tumultuous past. It was here where Iraqis rose up against the British occupation in 1920. The British ended up crushing that rebellion. In 1948, student protesters took to Rashid Street again. Although they failed to end the monarchy, this time they forced the British-backed government to resign.
3 people died at the hands of the police, but this forced the cabinet of then Prime Minister Salah Jabr to resign. And when he resigned, the parliament also had to go.
A stark contrast to today's events. Hundreds have been killed as part of the recent protests, but it took 2 months for Prime Minister Adel Abdel Mahdi to resign, while parliament has yet to be dissolved.
This hasn't happened in Iraq's history, that hundreds are killed, and neither the Prime Minister nor the parliament have condemned it.
Rashid Street is the commercial hub of the capital, but the violence between protesters and security forces has brought trade to a halt. Many shops are closed, and instead of customers, the street now teems with anti-riot police. The barricades behind me are the front line between demonstrators and security forces. And in addition to the loss of life, the historic buildings around us have borne the brunt of these confrontations. Now, none of the security officials here were authorized to speak to us on camera, but they've told us that demonstrators regularly throw petrol bombs across the barricades to target security forces as well as the buildings. This old building, used as a warehouse, is among several burned down over the past weeks.
They stood at the corner over there, and they threw a petrol bomb on this building, which is full of stores. Our store deals with shoes and handbags. The storage was full of silicon and it burned very fast.
Even before these protests began, Rashid Street was in dire need of rehabilitation. The local government had begun restoring parts of it in September, but was forced to stop when the protests started. Now, the street once again risks becoming collateral damage in a struggle for a better future. Simona, Foltyn, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.